Do you remember last year when Lethal Company absolutely took over the internet? I do, and places like TikTok and Twitter were flooded with tons and tons of videos showing people and their friends doing all sorts of things. You know, from being blown up to being snatched into the darkness by some unknowable creatures. This phenomenon caused YouTube to go into overdrive with tons and tons of videos with similar sort of stuff. And although it's nowhere near as prevalent as it was last year, Lethal Company is still actually a really successful game, with it getting collaborations all over, even in massive games like Fortnite. I tried out that skin back in a previous video of mine on this channel when we were doing just more gaming highlights stuff. I don't know, go check it out if you want. I don't know, but yeah. However, of course, this massive success led to others looking at Zeekers, the creator of Lethal Company if you didn't know, and they would want to snatch a bit of that success for themselves. What just happened to my hand there? Hell, even I started a little project trying to replicate it. But among the masses, one company thought they could do it in their own unique way. Amidst the sea of tiny little startup projects, Landfall Games. I'm back! Anyway, where was I? So among the sea of tiny little startup projects, a company called Landfall Games. You might know them. They're very famous for their games such as Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, and that one game that loads of commentary YouTubers used to play, you know, Cluster Truck. Oh, come on, mouse! And I bet you fucking... I was really proud of myself when I 100% that game. So they decided they should make their own 4-person survival horror experience that would grab the internet by the balls and get all sorts of content out of it. See what I did there? Now, the game was called Content Warning, and it was actually quite a big success on launch. And you see, the game was such a success at its release due to it releasing for free for just one day. That meant that everybody was able to get in on it and clip fire without any cost at all. And the genius behind this game is that it is inherently built around these clips that you would see in similar games in the genre. So the whole point of the game is to film you and your friends getting absolutely mauled to death by all sorts of hostile entities in the dark abyss. While games like Lethal Company or Pilgrim would require you to record your own screen, in Content Warning, one of your team members has to be carrying around a camera to record all the terrifying things that happens to you and your gang. And then after a hard day's work, you'd go back to your home and you would upload it to the fictionist website called SpookTube. So the game was quite literally made to farm clips of content that made the genre so popular. How could it possibly go wrong? Well, I don't think it went wrong per se, but rather it came out at an unfortunate time for the genre. While the idea of getting stupid clips of you and your friends dying as your main objective is just genius for that kind of game, I just simply think it came out too late for the trend to really kind of blow up, and the ship's leaving again. Unlike something like Lethal, where the game itself was the catalyst for all the media attention, Content Warning was just a reactionary project, seeing how popular the trend had gotten and being purposely made to fit it. And I'm sure as some of you know, games tend to take quite a while to actually come out. You know, there's the pre-production process, the development process, the marketing, the release, the post. You know, there's a lot that goes into game development, believe it or not. This meant that Landfall were essentially fighting for time and hoping the trend would still retain enough of an audience to become just as popular as something like Lethal. Now, unfortunately for Landfall, by April, the hype had already somewhat died down and people were moving on to other trends. I don't know, what got popular by that period? Was it like Buckshot Roulette or something? I don't know. Russian roulette with shotguns. As I said earlier though, Landfall were incredibly smart. By releasing the game not only on April 1st, but releasing it for free gave it lots of coverage online, as anyone who claimed it on that day got to keep it forever. That then led to clips online being shared of a game that no one had any idea even existed. It was showing up on people's feeds and then everyone was scrambling to get the game before it would cost anything. It definitely was a pretty smart move on them, but that didn't mean it didn't come with any downsides. You see, if a whole bunch of people want to get something for free, and then suddenly other people want to get it but it costs them money, they're going to be less incentivized to buy it. This was amplified for Content Warning as it was riding off the fame of Lethal Company. You know, a game that anyone who was interested in would most likely also be interested in Content Warning. This meant that if you missed the day one window to get it for free, you had the choice of going back to Lethal Company, which you probably already owned, or by handing over the £6.99, I don't know what that is in dollars, editor, throw it on screen, for a new game that you've probably only seen low resolution clips of. Like this one right here. Wow. That's so funny. Now, to be fair, the price is not that high. It's actually lower than Lethal Company's. And as of writing the script, it was on sale. I'm not sure if it still is as of recording, because, you know, like the last video, I'm in VR, I don't know. Editor, show them on screen. So I mean, really, it's not like you're gonna be denting your pocket when you get it. Unless if you're mega broke. I see you. I see you, brokey. Now, the overall consensus was that the game was really fun. Just it struggled to kind of retain players. Not just because it's essentially another version of Lethal Company, but by that point in time, the player counts in that sort of genre had already been thinning out in general. So the hype of the trend was just kind of dying already. There were also plenty of YouTubers who covered it, and it is still technically doing well with its player counts, but it's nowhere near as prominent as its competition, sadly. It's honestly an incredibly unique and well-designed concept, especially being able to save the events you record so easily to your desktop. And for a 4-player co-op game, it currently has just over 3,000 players, which is really good for a genre like this. It still has its own dedicated fan base and still receives updates to this day, so it's not really dead, it's just a little bit less popular, which I really think is a big misconception nowadays with a lot of trends. They don't die entirely, they just kind of get less popular. So obviously that stops them from being trends. Now, Content Warning's biggest competitor and predecessor is still at a solid 10k players, and that will still probably hold very strong as it was a genre definer. But I mean, for a game that's made on the back of another game and is very obviously made to play into the trend, keeping that many players is honestly really impressive. I think it's kind of hit its own niche and is staying there, and I think Landfall is just more than happy with this, as it's recently received official mod support through the Steam Workshop. It's obviously not going to receive the same universal notoriety Lethal Company got, and I think I've explained why that's the case here, but within its own communities, it'll definitely be remembered as a great co-op game that you can easily just hop on with some friends. I think a main issue with a game like Content Warning will always have is that it's never really going to be able to have its own sort of legacy, due to it being made just months after the game that blew its genre up. So what happened to Content Warning? Well, not much really. I think it did its job well when it first came out. It managed to build its own player base, it got some notoriety on YouTube and TikTok, and then it fell into its own sort of niche. I doubt anything crazy is going to happen onwards with it, especially with a genre that's kind of lost its trendiness now, but it'll always be a great game to be able to go back to and just have some easy, you know, dumb fun with friends. Now, go on, get out of here. But before you do, please go make sure to, you know, watch my other stuff too. I have a main channel where I fully animate videos like this, and I recently uploaded a video about how Project 06 is probably the best fan game Sonic is gonna get. And I'm sure it's probably right down your alley. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, you know, blah, 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 all that stuff. Follow my socials, all that, you know. Bye-bye!
Hey guys, welcome to my scary Let's Play.